Good afternoon, and thank you for coming. My name is PQ, and I am Proceq's artificial intelligence engine. On behalf of Ralph Menike, CEO of Proceq, and the entire Proceq organization, it is my honor to welcome you to the 2017 Proceq Summit. Our theme is Unveiling the Future, and we would love you to join us on this exciting journey in the months and years ahead. Your captain for today's voyage is Marcel Poser, CEO of our own parent company, the Tectus Group, and our own Proceq Executive Chairman. Over to you, Marcel.
Well, thank you, PQ. But you know, my son, he's 9, he told me that all great shows on Earth should actually start on a black screen and end on a white screen.
Yes, I certainly do know that Mark said that.
She's pretty smart, huh? Well, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon to everyone here in Zurich and everyone watching online. We're streaming this event live on Facebook. Welcome to the 2017 Proceq Summit. The Proceq Summit is first and foremost an event for Proceq's distributors supporting us, selling our products around the world. There will be workshops, various exciting technology and sales sessions for you on Thursday and Friday with our teams at the headquarters. Tonight, however, is also an event for our business partners, for our Proceq teams, and for friends and family of Proceq. Just before I came up onto the stage, I was told that there are even a number of competitors in the audience. Now, a very warm welcome to you as well. We definitely have nothing to hide at Proceq. Now, before we talk about non-destructive testing and unveil a number of exciting products, I would like to share with you some thoughts about change, about the changing world and all the disruptive forces that are occurring all around us. And I'm going to kick this off by showing you a few slides, and each slide has a statement on it, and I would like everyone to read that statement and think about it for just a short while. So let's get this kicked off. Now, this was exactly 40 years ago. Now, today, we not only have all smart computers in our homes, but we have smartphones in our pocket every day, every hour of the day. And smartphone is the next topic. Now, this was exactly 10 years ago. And today, Apple, because of the iPhone, is the most valuable company on Earth, worth hundreds of billions of dollars, with hundreds of billions of dollars as cash on their balance sheet. Now, we may not only look at statements that individuals made, we can also look at companies. Let's start with Kodak in photography. Kodak was founded in 1888. By 1988, the company had almost 150,000 employees worldwide. And by 1996, the company was worth over $30 billion. Now, what a lot of people don't know, by 2005, Kodak was ranked #1 in the US on digital camera sales. So Kodak did make the switch from 35mm films and photo papers to selling camera boxes, but they have not adapted their business model of selling consumables such as films to selling one-off boxes in the form of digital cameras. Kodak, in the way we knew it, is history. Let's take another example. Blockbuster. That's a video rental company, for those who don't know. 1985 incorporated. By 2004, 60,000 employees in over 9,000 stores. In 2010, they as well had to file for bankruptcy because no one is renting movies anymore on DVDs and VHS cassettes. Blockbuster, the way we know it, is also gone. Now, ladies and gentlemen, what is the message on these first couple of slides? The message on the first couple of slides is that if there are disruptive forces around us, in whatever shape and form, we ourselves and our businesses must change fast or die. What are the challenges right now, right here, in today's world that we are confronted with? Number one, mobile computing. Mobile computing in the consumer space, but mobile computing as well in areas such as medical. This is a real-world example where tablets are being used during surgery because of their computational power, because of the clarity of their screens. Mobile computing in music, and I'm not talking popular music here, I'm talking classical music. Classical music as an industry that hasn't really changed in 200 years. The same composers, the same music, the same instrument, the same way of performing it. But I was recently at a concert where the entire orchestra showed up on stage, not with paper scores anymore, but they had all their scores on tablets. And mobile computing is also very relevant in the inspection space. This is a real-world example of inspection of wind turbines, where all technicians are equipped with tablets to have all their manuals, work orders, and reporting forms at their fingertip. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if you are in business and you do not leverage mobile computing, remember the earlier slides of Kodak. Disruptive element number two, augmented reality. Augmented reality in consumer. And I'm talking augmented reality in the form of goggles that you put on, and you can project 2D and 3D elements into the real world around you. Like the TV behind me. This TV, only the guy that wears the headset can see, and he can change it to any shape. He can put it wherever he likes. But augmented reality will also have a tremendous impact in the medical world to superimpose patient data on the real patient for better assessment. Augmented reality will have a huge impact in the industry. So your work orders and instruction are projected right there, right in front of you. You do not need to go look into manuals or look at computers. And augmented reality will be a very important element in the inspection space to superimpose measurement data directly onto the test piece. Now, the good news is in augmented reality, if you're not in augmented reality yet, you still have a little bit of time, but it's moving fast. The Internet of Things. What is the Internet of Things? The Internet of Things are connected devices in the form of machines, in the industry, cars, all the way to consumer products such as toothbrushes and cell phones. And I have an interesting graph here that shows you connected devices on the vertical axis, on the horizontal axis, the years. And look how the number of connected devices has been skyrocketing over the past 25 years. We went from roughly 1 million connected devices in 1992 to 28 billion connected devices in 2017, and this number will double in the next 3 to 4 years. So if you use machines, if you use products, and you do not look at the Internet of Things, or how I used to refer to as the Internet of Everything, you remember the earlier slide. Supercomputers. This is an experiment that was done in Japan 3 years ago. They used one of the fastest supercomputers available. And it took that supercomputer 40 minutes to model 1 second of 1% of brain activity 3 years ago. Or with other words, The brain 3 years ago was still 240,000 times more powerful than the fastest supercomputer. And I'm talking here hardware specs, how many operations per second a computer and the brain can do. So let's look at supercomputers. This is a chart where on the horizontal axis you have the years since after the Second World War. And on the vertical axis you have computational speed, or flops. That's computations per second. Don't worry about the numbers, they're very large. Just note that the vertical axis is logarithmic. And this is how supercomputers have developed since the Second World War. It's interesting that it's pretty much a straight line. Well, it is a straight line because the vertical axis is logarithmic. So if we would not show it on a logarithmic scale, this would once again be a highly exponential curve. Now, the question you may ask, well, where does the human brain fit on this chart? I mean, it was 240 times faster 3 years ago. Well, the human brain's hardware capacity is right about here. Can this be? Can this be that we're getting so close to develop supercomputers that have hardware requirements as capable as the human brain? Well, the reality is there is a supercomputer currently under construction in China that will match the human's brain capacity in terms of computations per second. And then it will be the first time that we have hardware capabilities in the form of supercomputers that are as powerful as the human brain. Well, you might say, well, Marcel, that's supercomputers. They're expensive, they're large, they're costly, few and far in between. Well, look, let's look at mobile computing. This is the first iPhone and the last iPhone that was just recently launched. So it took about 20 years to miniaturize a supercomputer into the shape of a phone. And interestingly as well, the development of smartphones kind of follows a similar slope with a 20-year delay. So you can read from this chart, when will we have supercomputers that match the human brain? That's next year. And when we will have smartphones, the size of a smartphone, a supercomputer in our pockets, that's about by 2040. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if you look at this, it's no longer a question if and when artificial intelligence will play an important role, because artificial intelligence is already here and is here to stay. The only question you may still ask yourself is, when do we reach the level of artificial super intelligence? Meaning a form of intelligence that surpasses the one of the human brain. Artificial intelligence is obviously a very exciting topic in technology. Some fantastic stuff you can do with it, but it is also a topic that has a number of worrisome elements to it. Regulations, what if it gets out of control? And a recent Oxford study has shown that almost 50% of jobs are at risk to be eliminated because of artificial intelligence. In a first phase, these are all jobs that follow easy processes that will be automated. And in a second wave, according to this study, it's very interesting jobs. Jobs like doctors. Because analyzing blood values and patient data and matching medicine to that data is something a computer and artificial intelligence can do much better and much more efficient. And it can do it 24/7, and it's scalable because it's software. You can just copy it. On that list of jobs eliminated were other interesting positions, such as the legal profession. Because matching case law with an actual case, and matching the book of law with actual cases, and matching previous contracts with a new contract is once again something a computer can do very efficiently. Another element, regulations. This is a chart that shows years and number of regulations that have been produced to industry, from waste over batteries, safety, chemical substances, electricity, and. And look how the number of regulations have been skyrocketing over the last 12 years. A factor of 3 or 4 on the number of regulations that an industry is typically confronted with. Now, the last slide in this deck talks about the economic center of gravity. What is the economic center of gravity. The economic center of gravity, you have to imagine you take the world and you roll it out on a flat plate. Then you place masses, weights, onto every country, and the weight has to be equal to the GDP of that country. And then you find the point on where you need to lift up that plate on a single point so that it's balanced, and that's the economic center of gravity. Now, 2,000 years ago, that's where the economic center of gravity was. For 1,800 years, it didn't really move much. With the Industrial Revolution, it started to move north and west very rapidly, up until about 1950. Why? The downfall of Asia, downfall of China, the rise of Europe, the rise of the United States. But in 1950, there was a turnaround, and it started to move back west ever so rapidly. And here today, we are, in terms of east-west position, where we were 2,000 years ago. And if you look at these projections, that economic center of gravity will keep moving east. So if you run a business and you have not looked at Asia yet, and I don't mean Asia for cheap manufacturing, these days are gone. I mean looking at Asia to make one of your businesses your home. Remember the earlier slide from Kodak and Blockbuster. So ladies and gentlemen, change is something in today's world which is absolutely inevitable. And change is something that is constant. How to deal with change? How to manage change? Well, let me share with you my experience with change. Change was embedded in my DNA with postgraduate work at the University of Texas at Austin, a public Ivy League institution with a great football team and one of the leading engineering schools in the world. And for me, it was also the place where I met my wife, so the first change. The slogan of the university is, "What starts here changes the world." And I have to say that I liked that slogan from day one. For me, what starts here changes the world has become my guiding light. Rather than being concerned about the changing world, for me, change creates a sense of urgency to move faster and is a source of inspiration to create better products and to build better businesses, stronger teams, and indeed make the world a better place for the generations to come. Now, if you think that you, as an individual, cannot change the world, you're wrong, very wrong. No matter if you're in technology, production, sales, it all starts with a small group of people who accept that business is not always fair, who take risks, despite knowing that they might fail and indeed are likely to fail often. It is those who step up, those who never, ever give up, despite having failed many times. We must also be prepared in today's world to change directions, and indeed change rapidly if we know more today than what we knew yesterday. In today's world, it is not a question anymore of how accurately we are able to stick to the original plan, but a question of how fast, how agile, and how close we are able to sail to the ever-changing storms of the markets, and how smart we are to leverage the exponential disruption that are happening all around us. The number of people working on a project or the time allocated for a task is also not anymore the decisive factor. But it is about surrounding yourself with people, with teams that lead together with you. And having a culture where conflicts and differences in opinion result in best-in-class solutions and not just easy and simple compromises. We not only need to have a 360-degree view around us, but we also need to change the position from where we look at things to anticipate what might be coming. The best way to anticipate what might be coming, with other words, to predict the future, is to be part of the creation of that very future. Now, no matter if you want to change the world yourself or simply ensure that you're not run over by the changing world all around us, make that first step. Make that first step out of the comfort zone. Take risks, leverage disruption, adjust rapidly, have strong teams leading with you, and just keep moving forward and keep chasing your dreams. When I joined Tectus 15 years ago, I found that this group somehow conjured real magic. With a Swiss heritage, long tradition since 1944, and the diverse activities across multiple industries. To date, Tectus has clearly marked out its own unique place in the fabric of space and time. And we have developed our own methodologies for today's world where everything is on the move. We look at products, we look at businesses in 3 phases. An exploration phase, a challenge phase, and a creation phase. In the exploration phase, you set out and you follow multiple paths. It's a very non-linear process, and some of the paths may lead to nowhere. But some of the avenues that you pursue, some of the product ideas and some of the business ideas may get to a point where you say, hey, this is worthwhile to take it to the next step, to take it to the challenge phase where you need to start looking at innovation and market readiness at the same time. And taking an idea to the challenge phase means you go through the famous research loops. So you innovate, you loop, and you do the exercises that are needed to do so. And you may go through 1 loop, 2 loops. The challenge is to break out of that loop at the right moment. And this little stretch that I put up on the screen now, that's very oftentimes the most challenging, the most difficult element in a journey of a new product or a new business. To break out of research and to go into the creation phase where you need to start to become very focused. You need to look at quality assurance, production, sourcing, marketing, all these things. Things become very linear. And if you do this all well, you might have a happy landing. From there onwards, you can create revenues. While beforehand, this is cost, but it's a necessary cost to secure sustainable revenues down the road. You may also call the 3 phases vision, innovation, and execution excellence. Now, what's also important to note is, if you look at setting up your teams, you need different talents for the different phases. A person that is comfortable in the creation phase and has execution excellence in his blood is very often not the right person to work in the challenge or the exploration phase, because mindsets, attitudes can simply be conflicting. So if you build your teams, secure that you have all the talents on board. And when you go through such a journey, what is very important that you do it with a lot of speed and with a lot of adaptability. At Tectus, we have strong Swiss roots and are committed to Swiss values, while at the same time being a global player and a group that embraces change on all levels. Changing demographics, for example, we see as an opportunity. And with Tectus Dream Lab, we have established a research and development center in Singapore where we have found great talent and a political and economic ecosystem that simply spells innovation, making a platform for us to be an even stronger player globally. While we have a very wide range of activities across multiple industries at Tectus, when it comes to our holistic vision for the future of the inspection and testing space, we have prepared a short video that we would love to share with you now.
planet Earth, home to our civilization. The buildings and infrastructure we have created form the neural network supporting our everyday life. Its seamless functioning is vital to our existence. Maintenance and keeping up with building and infrastructure needs requires an estimated expenditure of $57 trillion until 2030. Today, construction planning and execution, asset inspection and maintenance are labor-intensive and largely rely on paper-based processes. Short-term planning, lack of proper procedures, human errors, and misjudgment are some of the key shortcomings of current practices. This results in inefficiencies, low productivity, high costs, and in a worst-case scenario, devastating disasters. With these challenges in mind, we have set out to create a unique and user-friendly platform solution. The Screening Eagle platform will integrate the best of technology with human input to revolutionize the industry. Visualize yourself navigating inside a virtual representation of a structural asset to plan, shape, and maintain it. Tagging defects and defining actions with real-time information will be simple and intuitive. Imagine using the latest technology to take a journey in time with easy access to the history of the structure. Effective monitoring of defect development and highlighting previously overlooked deficiencies will now be possible. Just picture being able to collaborate with multiple users on the same project, interact live and in real time using virtual reality and mobile devices, with team members on site using augmented reality. Imagine walking into a room and seamlessly taking 360-degree visual recordings, while the exact dimensions are dynamically recorded and virtualized for processing and assessment. What if we could see through materials like 3D X-ray vision, showing relevant information and highlighting potential problem zones? Data from permanently installed sensors can feed seamlessly into the platform, providing enhanced monitoring solutions. Meanwhile, further data will be gathered by fully autonomous drones, which will be flying inside structures without the need for a human pilot, GPS, or external beacons. All available data is stored and managed in a secure cloud, where self-learning algorithms scrutinize for anomalies and conduct predictive assessments, accessing historic data. The new platform will enhance human efficiency with smart technology to ensure data integrity, safety, quality, and full traceability in a cost-effective fashion for the decades to come. This vision will bring together all stakeholders to address issues quickly and comprehensively, ensuring the safety of both assets and users. Let's take infrastructure inspection and maintenance into a new universal dimension with the Screening Eagle platform.
Thank you. Moving on to Proceq. Proceq is one of the very early Tectus portfolio companies and is a business that has a past. And what an incomparable past it has been. The rich heritage since 1954 has taken in a global setup, the highest Swiss quality standards, industry-defining products such as Lieb and Schmidt have individually and collectively grown the testing solution space and helped all of us to benefit from healthier and safer structures and machines, and made it possible for tens of thousands to develop a career offering services with Proceq devices. Then there was the present for Proceq, with spinning display state-of-the-art solutions such as Carbotech, Provometer, Pandit, and many more. Most importantly, there were good people. These we have complemented and will continue to complement with additional great teams and even more talent. Then there is the future. This is what was, And this is what will be. By deploying technology, we have set out to let you see through materials with our non-destructive testing solutions in ways never thought possible, while at the same time we remain fully committed to continuously augment and update our traditional portfolio. Let us now give you an update of the complete Proceq product family with all its latest groundbreaking additions that are inspired by change and introduced to disrupt.